Hello and welcome to the new episode of We Talk Talent Series Season 5, the show where we bring you insightful conversations with top HR leaders shaping the future of talent management. Today, we are joined by Deepti Vij, Director of Talent Acquisition, Honeywell. Deepti, welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Anmol and team. Thank you.
So, before we dive into the discussion, I would briefly like to introduce today's speaker to our viewers. Deepti is a seasoned HR professional with 18 years of comprehensive experience spanning talent acquisition, change management, global entity setups, employer branding, and DE&I initiatives. Her exceptional contribution to the field of earned her recognition as one of the Forbes top 30 talent leaders in 2023. Deepti's expertise encompasses leading HR transformation projects and driving DE&I initiatives across various organizational stages. She is deeply committed to aligning organizational objectives with talent strategies to ensure a high return on investment while fostering future-ready mindset. So, starting with my first question, Deepti, in light of the evolving dynamics in the workplace over the recent years, it's essential to understand how industries are adapting to the changes. Considering the context of shifting demands and advancement, I'm curious that how is your industry adapting to recent workplace changes and what skill shortages are driving to the talent war in your field?
Yeah, Anmol, that is a loaded question, and thanks for having me. So I think Honeywell, the organization and the industry, of course, is impacted by a couple of changes that have happened in the past few years, and I would say some of them are positive impacts and some of them are slightly challenging. We've seen a generational shift, right? So we've had Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Zs. So that's a generational shift. There is digital shift. So in the last 10 years, there has been the speed of digital advancements has been accelerated. And both these things have really created a mindset shift, right? How people think, how people behave, what people expect from an employer and from their personal life. So I think amidst all of this, there are changes that have led to I would say skill readiness or job readiness shortage, and not really, shortage per se, because India currently has a huge demographic advantage. So from an age standpoint, from the number of engineers who pass out every year. So I would not say that we do have a skilled labor that passes out every year. However, are they job ready? So there's this little readiness gap because of the immense technological advancements that has happened. So the speed of tech advancement versus the speed of how our education system is changing does not match. And that's where the challenge comes in, right? So couple of things that we are trying to do, which have helped, in the let's say in the recruitment and development space, is that we are trying to be proactive in hiring. So we work on something which is called as talent pool, which means that we engage with people even before we have a job ready. Right, which means that we share with them what kind of work Honeywell is doing, what are our goals, what are our major pivots for the coming couple of years. So we engage with talent, external talent community via talent pools in a very proactive manner, in a very exploratory manner, so that once we have a job, available, we cut down on our lead time to look at the right talent, and by that time we also know that okay, these are the people who resonate with me and with Honeywell, and we'll be able to kind of be a part of the interview and evaluation process. So proactive versus reactive approach is something that has been helping us. The other is reskilling and redeploying. Right. So we all know that, there's a cost to a new hire, and it's always not only motivational, but also good from an ROI standpoint that you're able to reskill a person and redeploy a person. So we have a comprehensive list of, online and offline engagements, learning platforms that are targeted at certain, I would say, stage of an individual's career, right? So for an early career professional, there are differential set of trainings that help him or her. For someone in a mid-career, there are differential set of trainings and development programs which are very bespoke in nature that enable him or her to take up larger roles. And then, of course, there are specific programs for leadership. So once you reskill them, you can staff them into the opportunities which are coming up. And, I'm happy to share that over the last 3 to 4 years, Honeywell kind of fills, anywhere between 33 to 38% of its jobs internally. And what is left is when we go external. So this is how we are trying to, these two pivots, I would say, Anmol, is how we are trying to curb the gap of recruitment at the right time and with the right set of people. And the third aspect is that we have built strong relations with certain universities and campuses. And it is a historical relation, so we've been going to them and we've been hiring with them. The colleges understand the kind of talent that Honeywell hires and prefers. So I think that also helps in bringing fresh talent, fresh perspective. And hence, we further help them with on-the-job trainings so that it's easy and smooth assimilation and transition for them from campus to corporate. So these are 3 pillars, Anmol, that, are helping us to kind of, survive and win in the part of talent. Yeah.
So, Deepti, with the competitive job market and changing expectations of the employees, it's intriguing to learn how employer branding strategies have evolved. Keeping this context in mind, could you share insights into how your employer branding strategies have developed over the past few years?
Sure. So Anmol, if Honeywell is a 100-year plus strong organization, and the core of Honeywell has always been innovation, while there is a set of behaviors and principles, but our core is innovation. That's how we started, right? From first thermostat to now, moving towards sustainable jet fuels, right? So with that innovation as a backdrop, we came up with an underlying thought that all our employees are future shapers. And backdrop line is that future is what you make it, right? So that's at the back of the mind that I, as an employee of Honeywell, should be kind of motivated and resonate with the core of innovation, and should try to resolve for world's problems, and hence make the world a better place and make future which is better for everyone. So with that, we came up with future shapers who are practically our employees. And so that's one part, that our employees are our advocates. Second aspect is that our branding revolves genuinely and organically around how we are trying to make future a little better. This is again encompassing our Honeywell behaviors and our foundational principles. So and post this, once this framework is kind of understood, we align it with our firm's strategy, which is built for 3 years, 5 years, 1 year, so on and so forth. So for example, if let's say aerospace is a very strong vertical for Honeywell, what are the innovations which are being done, and what is the kind of new work that we are trying to do? How are we trying to break the barriers? And we kind of encourage our own employees to kind of share their stories and learnings with the external world, and hence make the branding extremely organic and authentic. So those are a couple of things, which how we have evolved over the years, keeping our core as innovation and aligning with behaviors and principles. Anmol.
Can you also throw some light on your DE&I agenda?
Yes. I think since we are in the also in the IWD months, it's a very opportune question, Anmol. So diversity, equity, and inclusion, of course, is a massive agenda with every organization, right? I mean, it's not even an agenda anymore. I would say for Honeywell, it's in our fabric. It's the way we operate. And in order to make DE&I successful, I think there are three, I would say, pillars on which DE&I in Honeywell stands very strong. So one is hiring, recruitment, then is retention, and then is development. The way we kind of promote or ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion in hiring is that our inflow or the kind of talent that we evaluate is extremely diverse. They are evaluated by a diverse panel so that there is no unconscious bias that penetrates, throughout the evaluation process. It is supported by extremely robust and fair online assessment systems. So one is, of course, your one-to-one personal interviews and panel interviews, but every level and every skill goes through a certain set of, behavioral assessment for the role, so that it adds another layer of, I would say, removing any biases that could have existed, because we are all humans. So that's on an entry mechanism, Anmol, which is in hiring. The other bit is retaining. So it's very important that once you've hired, how do you ensure that people feel inclusive? Hence, a very important aspect is that your policies have to align with the inclusive culture that we talk about. So our policies kind of take care of course, women and men, and also people with of different orientations. The benefits these policies have benefit people with all orientations. The other part of retention, a very important program that we run, is that women, when they come back after going through the family way, there is a very formal and structured program that helps them to come back and assimilate. Because like industry, we also noticed that one key point to lose a female or a women candidate from the organization is, or from the corporate, is once she's had a baby. It's a very important personal growth point in a woman's career. And the program that we have, which we call as Reconnect, aims to ensure that a woman is not only welcomed, but there is a structured approach of having her assimilate back to the corporate world that she might have missed, in the last few months of taking care of the baby. So that's on a policy standpoint. The third is on the development standpoint. Again, a development focuses on, individuals during that particular S curve of the life, when either your kids are growing up, or let's say your parents are ailing. So how do you sustain, during that phase of the life? So development programs to ensure that a person is well equipped during that phase of their personal time. And also, involving, asking them special programs to, let's say, letting people know that they should also explore diverse career paths. So someone from a tech space should be able to, feel empowered and learned enough to take up, let's say, technical role, or let's say a technical to a commercial role, a commercial to a technical role, right? So I think those kind of diverse and I would say taking care of the personal situation programs helps people stay. So I think these three pillars, we are trying to address each and every aspect of an employee to ensure that they feel included and they feel that there's equity in the system for them to grow.
That's really interesting, Deepti. So my last question to you is that now that the Gen Z is entering the workforce and born into the digital era, they bring a different set of expectations with them. So what's your take on this, that new generation entering the workforce, and how do their expectations differ from those of the previous generations? What's your take on this?
Yeah, no, it's a very, very interesting point, Anmol. And I think while I will talk about this, I don't know if I will have the perfect answer for you. But Gen Z, is was brought up in a world wherein there is information overload. There is information at the click of a button, and it's very quick. So some of the things that a Gen Z expects from an organization is they expect transparency, because before joining the workforce they got to know everything, right?
Yeah.
So they expect transparency.
Mm.
They are diversity is the key word for them, because I think all the reports, Mercer, Aon, any big report or research organization that you pick up say that this is the most diverse workforce ever. So it's a key. So it's important that organizations truly embrace the diversity agenda, and not really on superficially. That's number two. And the third is that, in fact, there are a lot more, but I'm trying to kind of encapsulate for the benefit of time. And the third is that, they do care about environment, society, and world as such. So they want to know what is our societal stand, what is my corporate responsibility, and am I adhering to it, right? So that's three. And the third is that, and because of these three, their aspirations or their expectations from an employer are, I would not say completely different, but somewhat different than, let's say, what a millennial, Gen X, Gen Y, or a boomer had, right? So for a millennial or a boomer or a Gen X, maybe having a corner office with a nice gold strip would have been aspirational, but maybe Gen Z, it will be more important that what kind of role, and what is the flexibility, how soon can they grow in the system. So transparency and all of that comes into picture, right?
Yes.
So so some of those things. So having said that, I think the way we are trying to embrace Gen Z and also learn from them, because I think they do come with some really bright and positive ideas. One is our DE&I culture is very strong and more. So I think that's a plus. We've been working on it for a very long time. We hold a strong ground. I just told you about the 3 pillars that support DE&I. So I think that's a very strong point for us, and it's a pull. The other is that as an organization, we are very, very committed to ESG. I did speak about how Honeywell is trying to help people, reduce carbon emissions by introducing things like jet fuel and other related aspects. So I think that's a pure play outcome that we are giving, and it actually resonates with Gen Z's mindset of ESG and sustainable world. And third is, from a transparency standpoint, Anmol, Honeywell as an organization has been very, authentic about what is it that we want to do. We define our strategy very well. We communicate the same to, let's say, the respective business owners, and then they further communicate it to the larger groups. So there is a whole lot of transparency. So I think these 3 things, from a broader macro perspective, is what we are inherently taking care of. The other bit is from a growth standpoint. There are exceptional platforms that we enable a person for self-learning. So Honeywell has something called an accelerator, which is a self-learning platform, and it has a bouquet of services, right from bite-sized to medium-sized to long-term, longish learning programs. So so it is a self-help, self-learning portal that any person, and especially someone who's very friendly on the generation who's very friendly on technology, can very quickly adapt to.
Definitely.
I hope
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Deepti, for sharing your valuable perspective with us today. And it's been a pleasure having you on this show. And for our viewers, let's continue to learn and grow together. And don't forget to tune in to the next episode of We Talk Talent series. Have a fantastic day ahead. Thank you.